All right, welcome to Body Sculptors. I said that I was going to start showing videos of kind of the real life behind the start of Body Sculptors, and I finally got through to it with getting a schedule with my main man to help me out. So, you know, Body Sculptors was kind of like created with the idea of having an environment that's conducive to progression. And what I mean by that is like just for everyone, not just a bodybuilder or the athlete, but something that's built for everyone. The regular mom, dad, grandmom, aunt, uncle, having experience in running businesses for a number of years, I found myself in fitness because of, due to past issues with my health. So I found that being in health, in this industry was kind of like a calling. So with the mindset of wanting to create my own and the help of like friends and family telling me that I could achieve it, the plan was created. I did get a lot of help from, in terms of ideas from a lot of people, especially on social media. One named Bradley Martin, he's big on social media, and he opened up his own gym in California called Zoo Culture. And I always had the idea of wanting to open my own gym, but when I saw him open his own, I was like, there's no way on God's green earth that I'm gonna be able to create a gym like that, especially with the cost of equipment and all the different things that I wanted. I had a vision of all these different devices and all these different things that I wanted people to be able to use, especially like the everyday person that's like a non-fitness bodybuilder, because the bodybuilding equipment is the stuff that works. But sometimes like the regular everyday working person is too intimidated to run into one of those gyms. So I always wanted those things. So I really kind of got into, it was actually a tough situation trying to figure out where to get the equipment, what my budget was going to be in terms of square footage, what I was actually looking for. So I actually reached out to Bradley, and when I did that, he told me to not really look at creating a gym the size of his with the amount of money he spent. I actually also looked at one of his videos that said, if you want to start a gym, look here. And I did. So when I went into it, I said that I wanted to look for equipment, and you can always find equipment on a lot of different social media and apps like Craigslist and OfferUp and Let It Go, a whole bunch of things. And now the big thing is Facebook group. So while doing that, I was looking for all the different types of equipment, and the one big thing I needed was time. That was a really, really big thing, because I wanted it to happen overnight, but of course it didn't. So I started looking at all the specific things I wanted, wrote down a list, had ideas from previous gyms that I've visited, and also gyms that I worked at. Well, actually the one gym I worked at. And I said, these are the pieces of equipment I wanted. So I divided it by the pieces that I only could get brand new and the pieces that I probably can get used. When I did that, I found that there was a lot of places in terms of gyms closing down, some new gyms that are relocating, even the regular everyday consumer that may have commercial equipment in their house. And now they figured out that it was just too big for them to have. So they used it as a coat rack, basically. So I looked at those people selling their equipment, and I bought it. But the one big thing was space. That's what you needed. So if you don't have the space in terms of a garage or backyard, you're gonna have to get a storage unit, and that's what I did. When I did get the storage unit, I started off at a maybe 200 square foot storage unit, and then it eventually grew to like 500 square foot storage unit on top of storing a lot of these items in my home. One thing I had to do was store stuff in my living room and my dining room, and that wasn't very popular. So the whole my whole first floor was full of equipment. I would have all my friends come over, and it was just, you had to crawl. It was like an obstacle course. So that was the one thing. And even while you're doing this and you're storing all this equipment and you're trying to find spaces, you have to understand that the first place that you always find and you think that is perfect, you're not gonna get. Trust me, I found the perfect place, thought it was amazing, and then lost it. Was very frustrated. Then found another place that was considerably smaller, and lost that one also. So once I lost those two places, I wanted to give up. I really did. I was basically like, forget it. All this equipment I've accumulated over the past year and a half, I'm just gonna give up. I'm done. I'm never gonna find a place, especially in the area that I wanted. And then one day I drove past this place and then called the real estate agent, and boom, and then it happened that fast. So there are a lot of different things that you have to kind of like go through in order to like find the perfect location. Do you want to be around a whole bunch of gyms, or do you want to be secluded? Also, when you find that out, you need to figure out what your lane is going to be. I've figured out in my lane it's more about training and giving direction about movements and isolation and dieting. That was one of my things. And also in terms of movement, sports science. I'm very, very big into an analytical and love the aspect of combining science with sports. So I concentrate mainly on athletes in high school, college, and all sports, soccer, baseball, basketball, football. So and basically looking at how they move doing in the positions that they play and how to improve it. So you have to find your lane. Again, if you see other trainers that have their own facilities that do kind of like what you want to do, never copy them, never emulate them, and don't have your own identity. There's a lot of different things that I have incorporated from a lot of different gyms. There's one great gym down in Miami that I love, that does a lot of athletes, and it's amazing. There's a couple of the gyms in the Midwest. There's gyms in the West Coast that I love. There's some gyms out east that have amazing equipment that I just drool over. But you have to find your lane. You can't have everything. And if you try to do that, you're gonna lose your identity. You're gonna lose the reason why you tried to like open the gym and why you want to do what you wanted to do. So the first thing, again, I would say is figure out your lane. Figure out what you want to do and why you're doing this, and then create a plan. How are you going to get people to believe in your vision for this gym? And then while doing that, what sets you apart? Like, everybody has a gym. What's going to set you apart from the Planet Fitness that's $20 or $10 a month? What's going to set you apart from the big chains like Lifetime and LA and Retro and all these different gyms? What's going to set you apart? Because when you deal with that competition, they have unlimited resources. You don't. So what is going to set you apart? Like, I don't have a pool. LA Fitness has a pool. So when someone comes to your gym saying, do you have a pool? What's your rebuttal for that? What's going to set you apart from having a pool or having a sauna? What's going to set you apart? And in terms of your training, when I say training, your training has to be in the lane that you want. Like, what is your lane in terms of the training? I'm big into isolation, movement. That's my thing. I'm big into supersetting, and I'm big into high intensity workouts while isolating the muscle. Some people are big into high intensity workouts like CrossFit. Nothing against CrossFit, that's just not my thing. Some people are big into circuit training, then that's their thing. Nothing against them. Everybody has success doing their own thing. You need to find out what works for you and work hard at it do the appropriate research, and then take it to that next level. I think that while doing this, it's very hard. A lot of times people think once you open a gym, all you're doing is working out all day. And that's not the case. You're looking at ways to, get more clients into your gym. It's not as simple as wanting to get a member that just pays the $20 or $30 a month. Like, you want people to feel comfortable in your gym. You're supposed to be creating an environment that people are able to release their stress and, feel comfortable being able to go into their locker room without thinking that something's going to happen to their valuables. You want to go have a gym that people know that when they go there, it's not going to have a ton of equipment taken by other people, so that they can get a full workout in without stressing out about someone being on their phone, and them being on the equipment that they want, or equipment being broken. That's another thing. Are you tech savvy enough or, handy enough to fix equipment? That's a big thing. I've had a number of pieces of equipment that when I bought was great, and then it started breaking down due to usage. So how are you going to take care of that? Then other than that, you have to create your plan of how many members are you looking to have after a certain amount of time? How many members you're going to have after this? How much money you want to have into training? What's going to be your staple in terms of how you advertise your business to everyone else? These are big things that everybody has to think about. Are you going to be selling supplements? And if you do that, do you need to have a certain license besides the business license? These are a ton of different things that you have to do. And while doing those things, how's that going to affect your budget? You can't just go buying a whole bunch of equipment and then not knowing oh man, I spent too much. Trust me, I've gone through it. And I do still have the addiction of buying equipment. My friends come in here and they look at it every time and they're like, wow, you got something new again. It happens, but if you're into making sure that your business stands apart from everyone else, you're looking for these different things. If you do, then you'll be fine. But if you're going into this for all the wrong reasons, thinking I'm just going to make a ton of money, that's not it. It's not going to happen. Some of the best gyms in the world, these people love what they do, and money almost comes secondary. Of course, making revenue is a big deal. You have to make it in order to keep the lights on and in order to live, but that's not their main focus. And then that money comes. You have to make sure that's not your main focus, is making money, because then you're going to fail off the bat. You're never going to make it, and you're never going to be able to compete with the big boys of the gyms that have 10, 15, 20,000 members. But you'll know if you're doing something right when you have those gyms that have 4,000 or 5,000 members have their employees and their trainers come to your gym to spy. Trust me, it's happened here many times. I know gyms that I used to work at that have copied my entire training perspective and design for their training rooms. I've seen it, but you can't let that stuff get to you. You just have to go on, and you also have to have a plan for your evolution. Are you going to just stay in the same place, or do you have more steps that you're going to take going forward? Currently, my gym, we're sitting at about 6,000 square feet, and I'm looking at expansion in the next month or so, adding another 3,000 square feet because of the need of space. One big thing too that I got from Bradley is he has a membership cap. A lot of people don't. And what I mean by that is you calculating how many people that you want at your gym at one time, and is that going to be enough for you to keep the doors open and do all the things that you need to do? Because a lot of people don't want to crowd a gym, and they don't want to go into a place that that has a whole bunch of equipment that they can't use because they just left a place that has the same issue. You don't want that. So you have to kind of determine what kind of gym you want. Are you just going to let the doors open and just let everybody come in and not care? Or are you going to be selective and say, hey, you know what? Once I get here, this is where we're going to be, and you concentrate on the quality of service of all your members. And that's what I've done. To me, it's more about making sure that all your members are taken care of and not force feeding them onto a whole bunch of different services like training and this. You know, if you're doing the right thing and you present yourself in the appropriate manner, they'll come to you and ask you about it. And if you're showing proof that what you do is great, then they'll ask you about it. You don't have to force feed them. You don't have to keep pushing the issue. It's never gonna, that'll never work, because then you'll just be a pushy gym that's trying to survive. If you do it the right way and you're confident in the reason behind you opening the business, it will come. It will. You just have to have faith in your idea, in your plan, and in yourself. And then once you do that, you're fine. Of course, I have other things that I want to do. You know, I do compete in bodybuilding, and I had to put that on hold. And fortunately, I'm actually going to be starting that back up in a little bit, the prep. But again, those are certain things that you have to put in the back burner, you know, personal life, things like that. You know, the important thing is being able to find like a partner and someone that understands that you're going to be working hard 7 days a week, 19, 20 hours a day, and then you'll be good. But if not, it's going to be hard. So those are a lot of things you have to take into account. And also friendships. You know, you got to have friends that'll back you. That's a big deal. If you don't have friends that'll back you, you might as well forget about it. And that's a really, that's like one of the biggest staples. You know, friends that inspire you, that do the same thing, and that give you confidence that, yo, you're going to do this. When you have those two things, a partner and friends that believe in you, I mean, then you're fine, especially if your plan is concrete. So again, like this is probably one of a couple of videos I'm going to be doing. One, I just wanted to talk about like the experience of opening a gym and a couple of things that I had to go through in order to get this going. A couple more videos will talk about training in terms of isolating certain body parts, you know, a lot of the different equipment that I have and the different uses of it, and, you know, training programs, you know, what works for me, because again, what works for me may not work for you, may not work for him, may not work for her, you know, it works, but me just giving my experience and training from my perspective may help a little bit. So this is like one of, you know, many videos I hope to put out that will give an inside look of Body Sculptors. Maybe then we'll do a nice little tour so that you can see some of the equipment and things that I have, you know, through videos and stuff like that. And then maybe the next time we go, you know, some of my training programs are training shoulders or back or legs. And I'll explain more about how I'm doing these movements and, you know, why I'm doing it this way and the different ways of doing it from my perspective. Because again, you know, I'm a trainer, but I'm not saying I know everything, but, you know, I know some things. So again, first video, Body Sculptors, you know, Soundwave Fit, Ken, signing out.